Joining us today is Marc Thaler, a B2B marketing leader and former journalist with deep expertise in content creation, editorial management, and global campaign execution. His career spans print and digital reporting, brand storytelling, and leading high-performing creative teams. Recognized as a culture carrier, Marc prioritizes clarity, connection, and communication, and he's passionate about building systems that support consistent messaging across teams and business areas. Wow, that says an awful lot. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. First of all, such a great opportunity here. I appreciate you making the time for me and to chat a little bit about my background and experience. Thank you.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it.
Likewise.
I think this is going to be great.
Likewise.
So let's kick it right off. What moment in your career has taught you the most?
Yeah, I'd actually go with this very moment, Paul, like this moment in time. The job hunt, job search it's a grueling process, and it's changed very quickly, even in, I would say, the last 18 months to 2 years, from my experience and from what I've learned from others as well along the way. The influence of AI, the need to tailor resumes for seemingly every job that you apply to, or that I apply to in this case. And also just the feeling of being a bit overwhelmed on both sides, candidates with the volume of applications and applicants, and then on the hiring side, having to sift through all of that stuff. So all of those things together have taught me a lot. And with the teachable moment here, Paul, for me has been learning to get back to basics for myself in terms of the approach I take and my mentality throughout this whole process. And that's to say that I'm really working and focusing on controlling only what I can control. And that's three things. It's my attitude, showing up with a positive spirit, believing today's going to be the day. It's my effort, what I put into every call, interview, application, resume that I put out there. And finally, my focus, making sure that when I'm in it for the job hunt, that window of the day, that I'm focused on it, but then finding time to step away and focus on other things that are important to keep me balanced and keep me feeling positive.
It radiates. So I completely see where that's coming from. When your colleagues or team members describe you, what three words do they consistently use?
Yeah, I'd go with accountable. Let's go with approachable, coachable, and tenacious. So a quick explanation, I guess, of each, right? Approachable, I am a friendly person. I really work hard and prioritize bringing warmth to conversations and projects, and both team leadership and in the areas where I'm an individual contributor. I believe that's the best way to get work done and to make sure that everybody has buy-in and feels invested in the project. So being approachable and in that respect is a big one for me. I know that my past teammates would say that about me. Coachable, for sure. I've never taken a job, and nor have I ever hired somebody for a job where they know everything on day one. Even if they are experienced in that industry or that role at a past company or opportunity, there's always something to learn. And I certainly believe that about myself, that I come in with an open mind, willing and wanting to learn how things work best in that team, that environment. So coachable. And then lastly, tenacious. This is the former reporter in me, Paul. Like when I see something, I go after it. So I would definitely say tenacious. I'm friendly, but I guess I'm also a bit of a bulldog in that respect, but the best kind, the best bulldog possible.
There you go. I like that a lot. Outside of your professional achievements, what passion project has taught you the most?
Yeah, I'm an avid runner. So I have been for a number of years now. Not a marathon runner or anything, but definitely like neighborhoods and roads around the house. I've been doing that for a number of years. And since the pandemic, I have made it my mission that to run on average 1 mile a day throughout the course of the calendar year, so that I am at 365 or somewhere around there by the end of the year. Last year, or in 2020 was my best. It was over 400 miles for the year. I knocked it out of the park. And what I found is last year, I barely cracked 200 for the whole year. And to me, that was a failure. Not in terms of the number itself, but in terms of what it represented to me, which was I robbed myself of the time I need to do something for myself that makes me my best, to be the best version of myself as a husband, a father, a manager, a teammate, things like that. So I've really gotten back into running because, again, this really mirrors what I was just mentioning a moment ago about controlling what I can control. The reason that I dropped down to barely cracking 200 last year is I agonized about things that were out of my control. And it really took its toll. it to the point where I didn't feel like lacing them up to get out there and do something that I'm passionate about. So what I've learned and what that has taught me is to, again, control what I can control, continue to do my best, and always make the time necessary for myself so that I can be my best version for those around me, be it teammates, people that report to me, people that I report to. It sets the tone for me. I truly believe, and this is the other teachable moment through all this for me, is that it's more than anything, it's about mentality. Skills, I believe, can be taught, but it's really how I show up consistently and with purpose that matters. And so running gives me that. And I'm happy to report that I'm back into it. All systems go. I'm feeling great. And again, this certainly contributes to my mentality on the job hunt.
I think it is clear how that energy emanates from you. But I think you make a really important point that if you can't take care of yourself, you're never going to be at your best for your colleagues, your team, anybody in your work environment. So I thoroughly agree with that. So that leads me to a question. Can you tell me about a mentor?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one that comes to mind for me, and I've been fortunate to have several, but the one that's top of mind to me, his name is Vin Sylvia. He was the sports editor at the newspaper that I worked at for many years, many moons ago, before transitioning into marketing. And it was at the New Hampshire Union Leader. I'm a New England guy living here in North Carolina now, but way back then I was up in New Hampshire. Vin, super important influence in my career. He's kind, thoughtful, hardworking, smart, fun, and I know in the best way possible, demanding. He demanded a lot of me on his staff. And in the moment, it can sometimes be hard, as I think back, sometimes be hard to see why. But with a little bit of distance and perspective, it's clear that he believed in me. And to me, that's such a powerful thing that a mentor can provide to somebody, especially younger in their career, but certainly at all ages, I believe, is belief. So again, you might not always see it in yourself, but they see it in you, and they're pushing you to stretch beyond what you think is possible. He did that for me in so many ways as a reporter, asking tougher questions, teaching me to ask tougher questions and feel confident about it, or write in a certain voice or tone that felt a little foreign to me, but he knew I could achieve it. So those are some tactical things that he taught me that I still apply every day to this day. But the other thing too, on the people side, the relationship side, his door was figuratively and literally always open to everyone, myself and everybody else on the staff. I took advantage of it a lot to pop in, to talk shop, sometimes to not talk shop. But that also taught me the importance in terms of being a leader or contributing in any way to a team, to making sure your door is open so that others can come to you or you can go to them. And we're all in the relationship business at the end of the day. I also very much believe that. And as a mentor, Vin taught me that, even if it wasn't something he was explicitly pointing out, again, with some distance and perspective, I can see that those things were taking shape, and I use them to this day.
It means a lot. And as a native New Englander myself, I'm very happy to hear about the New Hampshire reference. Yeah. So outstanding. What book or podcast has influenced you?
Can I give you two quick ones?
Absolutely.
Okay, because it's hard to pick between these two. So I'll give you a current one and then one that goes a little bit back. This one right here, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. This is relatively new. It's all the rage. I talked a lot about on LinkedIn and other places. It's fabulous. It's really for anyone who is looking to reclaim the power that they too often give to others in terms of the decisions they make, the choices they make, how they go about either something in their personal life or professional life. And it's a way to reclaim that power, to let them think or do or say what they want. And then it's about how I respond. So I've been applying that very much to my job search. You can't win them all, right? So there's really no sense in dwelling too much in that kind of space. And it's more about, how do I respond to that moment in time? And so I've been applying that quite a bit. The other one goes way back. This is almost 30 years old now. This is Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. I read this book for the second time just a couple of years ago. And I guess for folks who aren't familiar, or because it's been a little while, this is about a book that Mitch Albom, a sports writer out of Detroit, wrote about Tuesday sessions he had with a dying friend who happened to be his old college professor. And it's filled with life lessons that he took away from those conversations. And honestly, it's unbelievable how almost 30 years later, so much of what is discussed in that book still applies today about being compassionate, making sure that we're there to help others. I mean, how much better and friendlier maybe the world would be if we made that a bit more of a priority. So again, that's more of a personal book, but I do think there are professional nuggets in there that can be applied as well. So those are two that are on my bookshelf. I pulled them down for our interview here, but they are near and dear to my heart.
I think it's exceptionally wise words about the Tuesdays with Maury. And you make an important point that we do as a society right now seem to be moving away from the having that compassion for each other and having that understanding that, okay, everybody's going through something and let's try to be a little bit better to each other. I think we'll get back there, but right now it is a little challenging. I think you're right. So if you could spend a day learning anything from anyone, living or historical, who would that be and why?
Yeah, this is another fantastic question. I thought a lot about this, and where I landed is I'm a big quote guy, Paul. And when one of my favorites, and this is going to get to the person that I'd love to sit down with, is the late, great John Wooden, UCLA men's basketball coach, won, 10 national championships in a 12-year span, 7 in a row, just a legend of the game. And me being a sports writer, I gravitate to those kinds of folks. But the reason I'd love to sit down with him and chat with him and learn from him is it's a quote that I apply in my work approach, my professional approach I have for some time. And what he said was, if you don't take the time to do it right, when will you take the time to do it over? Or to that effect, if you don't have time to do it right, when will you have time to do it over? That's the actual quote. I apply that to my everyday working approach. There's this push to be fast and first in just about everything we do. And I understand there's a time and a place for that. But I also, in my core, believe if we all just took a half step back, applied a little more strategy up front, we would be in better position to succeed in the long haul. Right? What I've seen and experienced myself is that because there's such a push to be fast and first, very quickly, we lean into shortcuts, and shortcuts can create bad habits. Bad habits leads to confusion to burnout, and ultimately quitting the project or the job, and you never return to it. And imagine if all that time and energy could be applied better if up front we just took a little bit more time to do it right. So I always come back to that. Yes, it's a sports coach and it's a sports quote, but that's something that transcends any game for me. It's just taking the time to do it right, so we don't have to take the time to do it over if we even choose to do that.
It's important. I think it's important. What do you see as the future of your industry?
Yeah, marketing. So marketing it's going through a lot right now. I would say definitely with the influence of AI here to stay, right? So I think it would be pretty foolish to ignore it completely. And I don't know that people are doing that anymore. It certainly seems like more people are embracing it, but the future is probably somewhere in between using it responsibly and still getting the best out of the people that use it. And what I mean by that is I've used AI technologies already to help with my work in marketing, and I'm a writer, right? So by trade. So there's still a need for it. It can create efficiencies up front. But I think what that does, if used right and responsibly, is it opens the door for people to really apply their best strategic thinking, right? We can't just accept what is being pumped out of any of these technologies or platforms. There still has to be that balance. So in the past, where the people would have to spend whatever ends up being a week to write the ebook, now, sure, it can be done in quite literally a matter of seconds, right? But then that frees up so much more time and brain space for us to apply our knowledge and our tone of voice, the things that we want to put out in the world. So I think that's where we are heading, is striking that balance between using something responsibly and getting the best out of the people that still will use those things.
I think that's an important point, and it's something that we've seen with some of our technology contacts as well, talking about how AI can be used to take on those things to free up humans to do the things that only humans can do. So I think I see that same thing as well every day. This has been a great conversation. I think if marketing doesn't work for you, you should get into motivational speaking because you have the
Thank you.
energy and the power to do it. I think it's really, really well done. So
Appreciate
thanks so
that.
much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Paul. Really, again, appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
MTMG, guidance that empowers.